Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome. That's right. Season 7 of 101 starts today. Very excited. You know, when season 7 or whenever this happens and we're starting to get the premiere, we're getting ourselves set up for the whole season, which usually doesn't end all the way until we got all the way till February. So we're going to be here for a while. But, you know, we like to start off 101 seasons with our interview portion before we get into our weekly power rankings of the NFL season and talk all that stuff. But with all that being said, today I'm very excited because, you know, I try to bring you a special guest to start each season off. I feel like I've been hitting it out the park the last couple of years. Feel pretty good about it, we had Mike Robinson on last year, but I got a man this year who is just amazing. When I'm talking about a jack of all trades, we talk about a jack of all trades. CBS Mornings, Hollywood Squares. He's an analyst for CBS Sports, a former NFL player, none other, ladies and gentlemen, than Nate Burleson, joining us today for the season opener of 101. I'm so excited about this. I'm not going to do any more introduction. We got to get to Nate. We got to talk to Nate, talk about his life, his career, and what the future holds for Nate Burleson. With that being said, everybody, you already know what time it is. Season 7 of 101 begins now.
One. Welcome to the 101. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to the 101. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to 101 at Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are here, episode 205 of 101 here as we start season 7, and I am super excited because we got the man, the myth, the legend, Nate Burleson joining us today. Nate, brother, how are you doing, man? How's everything going? And once again, thank you for joining us today.
What's up, family? How you doing? What's up to the Legacy Maker Network? I appreciate you having me on. It's a blessing to be on with you. 205, you said?
205,
Did you say 205?
man. 205.
That's beautiful, man. I know as someone who works in media, you know, the long days and short nights, the work that people don't see, it can be hard. But you know, it's rewarding when, you know, people start to tune in and really respect what you do. So I respect what you do. You wanted to have me on, and I'm here, baby. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Look, I remember in the beginning, I remember how hard it was. I'd be digging and like, hey, trying my best to bring people on. And as I've been able to grow in this industry and, you know, get a chance to be on an NFL field every Sunday, and, you know, it just really came to me at one. It's just been really nice to be able to reach out, get a chance to meet with people and talk with great people like yourself, man. It has been an absolute honor. You know, since I was a kid, this is all I've ever wanted to do, and I get a chance to live those dreams every single day. So I'm just like I said, I'm excited to have you on, brother.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to be here, man. Talk a little ball, you know, get to know each other a little bit more and kick off the season the right way. You know what I mean?
You know, that's what we want. We want to kick the season off beautifully, and that's what we plan on doing. But before we get into all the fun conversation, let's start off with our favorite segment, or at least my favorite segment on the show, most important segment, the check-in. All right, Nate, the check-in. We got to check in on you, man. You, your family, your friends. How is life right now for Nate Burleson? I know you do a lot of stuff, but how is life for Nate Burleson right now?
Man, life is really good right now. It's moving at a pace that doesn't seem too fast or too stressful for me. You know, I always feel like life is going wonderfully when the people around me are happy. So when my wife is happy, when my kids are happy, my mom and dad, my brothers, you know, my extended family, nephews, nieces, and friends, like that's when I know life is good. It's not about earning money or being on TV. or even feeding my ego. For me, I find true happiness in being able to see other people shine or step into their calling, or just being able to bless folks, man. Like biblically, my name, and I grew up in a Christian home, so I've been told this over and over and over again from my mother. My name means God's gift, well born,
Mm,
and I didn't know the true meaning of it as it pertained to my life until I started receiving the blessings that have been bestowed upon me. So now I realize I'm just a vessel, man. Like, yeah, obviously I know how to spoil myself. Look at all the sneakers. But uh at this point in my life, man, it's about blessing and showing up for others. So life is good, man. I feel good. There was a moment in my post career, my post NFL career, now media career, where I was saying yes to so many different things because I so desperately wanted people to know and see how versatile I am of a talent, and or as a talent. And I just wore myself thin. I started like losing my hair, started getting, these gaps and bald spots, basically alopecia due to stress. And
mhm.
I remember going to a dermatologist and she was asking me like, so, what's different in your life? And I'm like, oh, I just moved from the West Coast to the East Coast. I'm waking up at 4 a.m. I started this new
Mm.
job, and it's a sports show on NFL Network. And I'm explaining all this to her. She didn't really understand sports too much. And she's like, oh, okay, all right. I guess that could be the cause of it. And I'm just talking to her so deeply about how I wanted to be good at it. And I thought about, this show 24/7, and it's been rough to get rest. And then she was like, well, that's it. You're stressed out because of that, and your body's responding. And I'm like, no, stress, no. I play football for a living. I had 250-pound guys that were trying to break me in half on a weekly basis. Like that was a crazy career. I played 11 years in the NFL, and that was stressful. And I was like, she's like, no, there's a difference. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, when you were just talking about football, you had a huge smile on your face, you were animated. I can see the joy all over you. But when you were talking about this show that you're doing, your whole disposition was different. Like even how you talked, your face was frowned up, your body was tense. She was like, this new path that you are on, it is taking a toll on your body. It turned into a therapy session. I went there just to get some steroid injections in my face, and I might as well just lay down on a couch. But it taught me a valuable lesson that, something my mentor said to me some years back. He said, there's a lot of power in saying no. Like you don't have to
Right.
say yes to everything. And once you get to that point in your career, and you've earned the right to say no, life will start to slow down. And that's where I'm at right now. I've earned the right to say no, and that's a good thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got it set up right now where you can, I don't say do anything, but you can pretty much do a lot of stuff that you would like to do. And I think that's very important. I mean, I think we've all been to those points where you're like, all right, where do I take myself at this moment? Like, what do I do next? I remember when I first started the sports network, the biggest thing for me was just trying to get established. Like you're starting from the ground up. You're an independent media. People have to look at you and like, are you legit? Are you just here to go to the games for free? What is it, that sets you apart? And it used to drive me insane. I drove everywhere in the state of Virginia,
Mm,
Maryland, go to DC to games, command well, at the time, then, the other team
right.
at the other time. So, going there, going to Wizards games, coming back, you go to UVA games, go out to Tech, go here. And I was just driving. I mean, sometimes I did 3 games in one day. The game started in the
Mm,
morning, go here, do that. But it was a grind. So, it's like I knew that if I wanted to get to where I wanted to be, I had to do it. Then after a while, I'm like, all right, I got here
yeah.
now. I got here now. Let
Yeah.
other people
Right.
get the growth, and that made me happy. I was like, all right, I can take a deep breath now. So
Right. Right.
I don't run as much as I used to. I was
You
running
put the
ragged.
work in. Yeah, you
Yeah.
put the work in, man. You know what that grind is like?
Man, I ran ragged for like a couple years. I say, but you gotta slow down, man.
For
You
real.
gotta
I
slow
feel
down.
you.
But
I
yeah, so
feel you.
it's gotten a little bit better, a little bit better. Now, Nate, when you were 7, 8, 9-year old Nate,
Uh-huh.
where did your passion for sports come from? Like when it first hit you, you was like, man, I love sports. What was it that got you to have that love for sports?
I grew up in a household with four boys. So we drove my mom and dad crazy, ate them out of house and home. We all played sports. We tried every sport: track, baseball, basketball, football. Um, so we were competitive in the house. My father played football. So I think part of us growing up, we all wanted to be like dad. He played in the USFL and the CFL for a long time. Went to University of Washington. That's how we ended up in Seattle.
Mhm.
We were basically transplants from the Bay Area, and we were just following in his footsteps. Young Nate would tell you that he loves the NBA, he loves the NFL, but just like every other kid that says they want to grow up and be a professional athlete, I wasn't like the man. Like, some people you can see it, like some kids you can see it very young. I played with those kids. I played with them in elementary school, middle school, and high school. And I didn't really blossom until late high school, college. So, as passionate as I was about sports because of my father and growing up in Seattle, where we have a rich sports history, um, it was it was until later where I really started to, figure out what I wanted to do and how serious I wanted to take football. Because I was also in love with basketball. I was an all-state hurdler, point guard, and football player. So at that point, when I left my senior year, I had an opportunity to go to college to play one of the three, and I chose football.
Yeah, see, that's special, and you hear so many stories about that where it's like, oh, I could have went here, you could have went there. On the NBA level, do you think you could have made it to the NBA? With the
Nah,
skills. I mean, nah, come
like
on, Nate.
I listen. I say like my ego says yes, but the reality is not. Like there's a separation. Like my brother played a couple of years in the NBA, and then he went overseas and finished out his career. You know what I mean? Like I played against Jamal Crawford in high school. I had one good defensive game against him. Other than that, Jamal was a problem, bruh. And that defensive game isn't even like me patting myself on the back. I just had one game where he was off. But in reality, like playing against Jamal Crawford in high school was probably the biggest like message to me as an athlete. That if I needed confirmation of what the levels of hoop were, that was it. At that point, seeing Jamal grow from this smaller, skinny kid in South Seattle to this magnificent high school player, electric. Like he was to Seattle, he was N1 mixtape with a little bit of like fundamental basketball with the sweetest shot and floater. And his handle was always phenomenal. So I remember seeing Jamal and playing against him. And even the game where I claimed I locked him down, he really was just off. The reality was the other games I played against him or seen him play against other high school talent, he was so far ahead of us. So at that point, I was like, yeah, now it's down to two sports. I can either go run around a track and jump over hurdles for 4 years, which I wasn't going to do because I don't like running. Didn't then, and I still don't. So it came down to me choosing. It came down to me choosing football because I just thought go play point guard in college at 6'1", 6'2". That's decent height. I'm not saying it can't
Yeah,
be done, but it's decent height. You go play wide receiver at 6'1", 6'2". That's tall. That's a
yeah,
tall
yeah,
whiteout
yeah.
in the NFL. So I made that decision.
And sounds like a smart business decision. You made a lot of smart business decisions in your career. Sounds like one one very strategic one with that.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, man, obviously you talked about going to college. You went to Nevada. Can you kind of tell us where that part of your career, from the college to the NFL to where you are now, and that transformation from that point to that point? Can you kind of give us like a little bit of a layout, a little bit of a journey in your eyes through that, how that started from there to where you are now?
Yeah. Even though I wanted to go play football in college as a wide receiver, we didn't throw the ball a lot in high school. I had like 14, maybe 16 catches my senior year. Seven of them went for touchdowns. So there was some type of athleticism that people saw. I also played cornerback, so I was getting recruited as a corner and a receiver. A lot of schools wanted me to come in and play corner, and I wasn't going to be dumping dudes for 4 years. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go somewhere where I can catch the rock. And I remember there were a handful of schools. Um, Nevada came in and they walked in my house, and the exact words of the coach was, um, "How many catches you have your senior year?" And I'm like, 17. He said, "We'll get you that in one game. We throw the ball." At that point, Nevada was like top 5 in passing every year. They just were old school run and gun offense, that air raid style. Um, and in my head, I'm like, I'm going to Nevada, bro. Like, and it were like, my coaches were like, well, there's bigger schools out there.
Nah.
In my head, I didn't even really differentiate that. I wasn't thinking like, oh, I got to go to a big school to get seen. I just wanted the ball. Like, I have never been targeted that much. And it didn't happen right away. First year didn't play. Second year did pretty good. Had like 60 catches. Third year, which is my second year on the field, I had like another 59 catches. And then I went into my last year, which was my redshirt junior year. And I was working out with the team. I was also working out with a trainer. I was extremely focused. I was walking with the Lord step by step on campus. Like, I was on fire, man. I mean, on fire for the Lord. As a believer, there's moments where like, God is simply just using you as a conduit for what he wants in your life. And that's what it was. Like, I think God saw the work. I know God saw the work that I was doing, not just athletically, but also spiritually and academically. And I saw the fruits of my labor show up like they've never shown up before. I'm not really a big smoker, so I never really had to walk away from that. But like casual drinking, like college drinking, I
Right.
was like,
Right.
no more drinking, even if it's on the weekends. No partying. I'm a hip hop head. I'm dating myself, but I threw away every CD that had curse words on it, which was tough because
Ooh.
CDs were expensive back in 2000. You know what I mean? I had my little
$20 a
Case
pop.
Logic. You know what I mean? I'm tossing them out the car because I wanted to be as pure as possible. When I talk to young people and I talk to them about discipline and trying to really find the peak performance inside of them, being pure in all these different areas. Even within my relationship, my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, we decided we weren't going to have sex. So we were going to be abstinent and try our best to not even put ourselves in that situation and be tempted. There were like at like 10:30, 11, we gave ourselves a curfew. If I'm at her house, I'm leaving. She's at my house, she's leaving. And we held that up all season long. So the reason I say that is because like everything I was trying to download, whether it was the word of God, whether it was my studies, whether it was me being an athlete and studying film, or me just, finally reaching this like crescendo of like young athleticism along with like platform lifting and training and then doubling up on the training with my trainer. All these things met and converged at one point and it exploded into a season that can only be explained by divine intervention. I had 138 catches. One game I had 21 balls thrown to me. I caught 19. The other 2 were incomplete passes that I couldn't catch. There were games where I would have, and then afterwards, I'd be in the locker room and they'd be like, you had 17 catches, right? And I'm like, what? Huh?
Did I?
Yeah.
Did I?
And it was, I think most of it was because I was like in a zone where it wasn't about me. It wasn't about like what I was doing. And secondly, we weren't winning. So I never felt really good about celebrating. So I just kept putting my head down. I got to do more. I got to be better. They double team me. Still got to make a play. This team is going to triple team me. I still got to make a play. Oh, this team got a top cornerback. I got to torch him. So like that year, being up for the Bolitnikoff and being an All-American and leading the nation in catches, like was unreal. A kid from Nevada, like this is the same year that saw Anquan Bolden into the draft and Charles Rogers and Andre Johnson, bro. Like the draft was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And and I remember just after the season, like, damn, this is one hell of a year. And the coaches were like, we want you to come back. And my quarterback, who was a senior, was leaving. We had this young freshman who never like it. And another thing that happened that was really disappointing was they decided to not throw me the ball the last game as much as because the record was 142.
Right.
I walked into that game with 134 catches.
Okay, so you need a 9.
I was averaging, I was averaging 12 a game, somewhere around there. At least like 12, 15 targets. Just off the screens alone, I can catch like 7, 8 passes. And
right.
They threw the ball to me 4 times. And
Oh,
and then I didn't really trip off of it because I was and they put the freshman in the second half. It was all weird. And I didn't really trip off of it too much until I walked into the head coach's office and he was like, "Hey, have you made your decision? I know there's agents knocking at your door. You know, you're a junior. You come back. If you come back, we promise we'll break that record." And I'm like,
oh, that's what he.
and
Oh no,
it didn't
coach,
even
no.
it didn't even cross my. It's crazy. I wasn't even thinking about it. Like, but the moment he said that, I'm like, wait, so y'all were aware of the record going into the game. I'm still like naive,
Man,
young Nate. I'm like, I'm 21 years old. I'm just like, you know, hey, I'm just here to show up. If I get the record, cool. If not, I just want to win the game for the
right.
team, you know, go us. But he was like, hey, I promise, if you come back, we're going to get you that record.
That's
And I'm like,
insane.
was he using that as bait to entice me to bring me back? So then after that, I just decided, you know what? I don't think I could duplicate this with a freshman, and I don't even like the way that ended. So I'm gonna just go take my chances in the league. And I got drafted in the 3rd round by the Vikings. They weren't even on the board. I thought I was going late first because I felt like after Andre, Charles Rogers, of course, because he just had these amazing catches at Michigan State. I think
Michigan State, yeah.
And rest in peace, by the way. But
Mhm.
yeah, I thought I was going to go late first at the latest, early second. And I remember seeing like 7 receivers go before me. And I'm sitting there, it's the 3rd round, and I'm just like falling asleep on the couch, like sitting there with my mom and dad, and they looking at me, they can tell I'm mad. And then I get a call, and it's Mike Tice from the Minnesota Vikings. He's like, hello, is this Nate Burleson? I'm like, yeah. They're like, this is Mike Tice with the Minnesota Vikings. I'm like, oh, what's up, coach? Are you ready to be a Viking? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you don't sound too excited, son. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I was taking a nap. He's like, taking a nap during the NFL draft? I'm like, yeah, you know, long story, but yeah, coach, I'm ready to go. Thank you. And that was it. They showed like half a highlight and then went to talk about some other dude that was still on the board. Like the disrespect was crazy. But all that stuff, I just like, I don't know. I internalized it, and I was like, you know what? I gotta do what I've been doing my whole life, which is just proving people that I deserve. You know?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, to try to keep you there. The strategicness. I'm like, look, we can keep him here a little bit longer. Maybe he'll come for the record. I'm glad you had the knowledge. He's like, you know, this ain't it. I'm just gonna keep
Right.
on rolling from there. I mean, you know,
Right.
I get it, but I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you made the right move. You know, you go out there, you do your thing, and you know, have a great NFL career. And you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
now you've hit the post part, you know, of the NFL career. You've done a lot of stuff here, man. I mean, you know, we talked
Mm.
about it at the beginning. You know, you've been, you know, CBS Mornings, you got, you know, Hollywood Squares. How did all of that kind of come along? You know, how did you get into all of that?
So the first time I was ever on TV as an athlete, and I'm not talking about interviews in high school or anything like that. Talking about in the NFL. I remember being in LA during the summer. It's like 2003, and this was right after my first year. And I was at the NFL Network, and I remember thinking to myself like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." So then every summer I would go back, and it would be on my own dime. The NFL Network had a thing at the time: if you're playing, we're not paying. So If you're still in the league, we're not going to pay you to be an analyst. It's not like now. Now guys can moonlight as like media talent on their days off or their week off. But back then they were like, you can come, yeah, we'll put you up in a hotel, but like we're not going to pay you money. But I wanted to be around these athletes and former athletes that were in this space because I really thought I could do something in media. Now, in the very beginning, it was very self-serving. I'm a receiver. I'm a diva. I love to hear myself talk. I love to see myself on TV. So every team I was with, I was working with their media team, whether it was a Sirius satellite program or a sports news show or with the local news station. It was always something that I was doing with every single team that I was on while going to the NFL Network every summer. So it started over 20 years ago. But then right around year 8, 9, I started hearing about the broadcast boot camp. And I'm like, I got to do that. I got to send in an application. And, you know, there was a bunch of applicants and I was the one selected. I'm like, you know, it's going to be a breeze. It's like in Mount Laurel, New Jersey at the NFL Network studios. You know, we're just going to we're going to just talk. I'm going to kick it with guys I either played with or against. And we're just going to hang out all weekend. And no, it was not that. Like some of the big wigs from every network. This is before streaming platforms. And some execs were there. Some hosts, analysts, broadcasters were there. And they put us through demos, live hits on the local news there. They had us writing. They simulated actual broadcast with a broadcaster and a play-by-play guy, and you're the color commentator, which I absolutely screwed up and was terrible at. But everything else was good. Everything else, I was a little bit of a standout because I can write. I'm quick on my feet. I have a certain calmness when I'm in front of the camera, and I'm a good storyteller. I'm very descriptive in the way that I speak. So all of these things were good for the radio portion or the live hit portion or writing the script portion. But I remember they're like, all right, tomorrow we're going to do a game. It's going to be the Steelers versus the Packers. You know, it's going to be, you know, everybody's going to have a slot. You'll have a halftime to do. And I remember just being cocky, like they gave us the roster. Yeah, I'm like, I'll peek at the roster, but I ain't going to look at it. And we get in there, bruh, and you know, that they were like, all right, let's go. It's the whole booth set up and everything, green screen behind us. It's just like, it felt real. And from the snap, I was off. They were like, all right, and Ben Roethlisberger drops back and the ball is complete. And he just looks at me and I'm like, yeah, he caught the ball. You know, Big Ben, by the time I even got into the sentence, he's already, all right, second down. Let's see what, you know, Bill Belichick is going to do here. And I'm just fumbling basically for the next quarter. And I remember thinking to myself, damn, I screwed this up.
Right.
And then secondly, it kind of like traumatized me. I avoided any broadcast opportunity. I never wanted to be in the booth because of that reason. And but even after all that, at the end of the broadcast boot camp, they give like one guy a standout. I don't know if they still do that now, but they give one guy kind of like the standout award. And they gave it to me. And people were patting me on the back. I met James Brown then, and James Brown was there. He's like, hey, man, you know, you good talent. Hey, when it's time, when you retire, man, look me up. Take my number down. Let's keep in contact.
Really?
He was like, you got something. You got something. And but in my head, all I could think about was that broadcasting like simulation. And I'm like, oh, I absolutely sucked at that. And what it did was it kind of motivated me. It showed me that I'm not as good as I think I am. And that this craft of being on camera, it's going to take so much more work. And don't ever disrespect the portion of preparation it takes to show up and do your job correctly, even if it was some type of demo or simulation. So it was a valuable lesson that I learned. And then once I retired at year 11, I was kind of like, you know what? It's go time. And I went to a few different networks. Most of them were like, I mean, we know you, but like,
oh no.
No, I'm keeping it real. It was like, we know who you are, but like, I mean, you know, you don't have a Super Bowl jacket. I mean, you don't have a Super Bowl ring. You don't have a Lombardi trophy. You don't have a gold jacket. You you're maybe respected by your peers. You're a good receiver, serviceable at times, made some big plays, but like, you know, we're not gonna sit and roll out the red carpet. And most of the networks were like, well, we'll call you. And others were
Yeah.
like, we'll put you on a day count. And for those who don't know, a day count is basically like we'll pay you a certain amount of money for daily work. And it wasn't even a lot, in comparison to league money, of course. But
Right.
we're talking, maybe 1,000 or two a day to work all day, and which at the time I'm thankful for, because I'm hitting the reset. I'm starting at the bottom. A lot of guys would have been like, nah,
Man,
I've been making,
forget
yeah, I don't need that money.
that.
But in my head, I'm thinking like, so my question was to them, so what happens after the 30 days? And, I ended up going with the NFL Network. They're like, well, after 30 days, we'll reevaluate. And, we can renegotiate more and add more days. So 30 turned to 60. And they bumped it up a little bit. And I'm like, okay. And then they're like, let's just do 120. And now they're paying me $5,000 a day. And I'm
Hey,
like,
there you go.
okay, all right. So
Man,
the math is starting to math a little bit. You know what I mean?
working a little something out.
Yeah. I'm sorry, not a day, 5,000 a week, I think, something like that. But either
I
way,
was there 5,000 a day sound good. I said I gotta sign up.
yeah. So that sounded kind of crazy.
Sign up.
That sounded kind of crazy. But in my head, I'm like, all right, it's as simple as this. If I continue to improve, I can treat this just like football. I'll negotiate a contract, outperform that contract, and then leverage how good I am and my potential up against what I want to negotiate. And that became my blueprint for working my way up the ladder, which was basically showing up in spaces and places that I wasn't hired to do. My title was just to show up on Total Access every once in a while. But when they called and somebody couldn't make a pregame show, postgame show up for a digital show, do a tailgate experience, I always raise my hand. And for me, now I'm like, you know what? This isn't just about trying to outwork everybody. This is about showing that I can do all these different things.
Right.
And a couple of very, very pivotal moments happened. One, there was an older veteran there at the NFL Network who saw me grinding. I was doing Total Access one week. I go fly to a game. I did a tailgate experience. I come back to LA. Then they needed somebody to sub in for NFL AM, which was an old morning show. And that show was brutal because you had to wake up at 4 a.m. The show was at 4 a.m. Pacific time, but you have to be there at 1:30. You know what I'm saying? So because the call times, just after midnight, you got to start getting makeup on. You're live at 4. So I was doing all of this, bouncing around. People would see me running in and out of different studios at the NFL Network. And I remember a veteran player, retired legend. I'm not gonna say his name. He was walking past me as I was just walking to another show, another studio, doing another ask, showing up for another ask. And he said, "Hey man, slow down, rookie. They're not gonna pay you more for more shows you do." Because I'm on a day count. So it doesn't matter if I do 2 shows that day or 3 or 4 or 1. And it reminded me of when veteran players would look at rookies that were just simply working their ass off. When veteran players would say, "Hey, Rook, slow down. Hey, Rook, man, you going too hard. Hey, Rook, it's a long season." But reality, that veteran just didn't want to work as hard. And he didn't want to be showed up. So shown up. So for me, it's something switched there. I was like, okay, people are comfortable here.
I gotta make it uncomfortable. Yeah.
People are complacent. So I want to be great at this. I didn't have a chance to win a Lombardi. I never played in the Super Bowl. I wish I would have. I'm not a Hall of Famer. I know that about myself. But in TV, it's the reset, baby. Men make trophies. There's a factory, there's men and women in a warehouse that make the Lombardi, some type of, I don't know, trophy maker makes those sports trophies, but they also make Emmys too.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
So
they
in my
do.
head, I'm like, because I got a void for all these things that I missed out on in the NFL, I'm gonna go get all of that. I'm gonna go win me some trophies. I didn't win a high school championship. I never went to a bowl game. I never went to a Super Bowl. I need some trophies, man. So that was my mindset. I'm like, I'm gonna work because this isn't about showing somebody up. This is about me pushing myself to my most complete version in media. Like I want to be as good and as diligent with the work as I can be and chase these trophies unapologetically. That was a moment. So that whole exchange with that guy. And then another moment, shout out to Dan Hellie. Dan Hellie used to be a host at the NFL network for a long time. He was the host of Total Access for a long time. And I remember
I feel like I remember. I feel like I
yeah,
remember.
yeah, yeah. He also, I think, he worked in Washington too with like the Commanders, the Redskins at the time. But like, Dan Hellie was everywhere. He did a little bit of everything. Super talented, cool, calm, funny. Read the prompter with ease. Like, knew how to navigate a show. Like, just cool as hell. Like, that's my guy. I remember we got done with the show, and this is just like one of the dopest things that anybody, another talent, has ever said to me because of what it meant for him. He's like, hey man, you need to start paying attention to the hosts of all these
Hmm.
shows.
Hmm.
He's like, you should he's like, you should like, watch how like I prepare for the show, how I script for the show, um, and how I host the show. And I'm like, why is he telling me this? I'm thinking that I'm just nodding my head. He's like, because when I can't make it, or if Amber Theo Harris was another host, there's a bunch of hosts at that time, but he was basically saying if I can't make it, or the long list of hosts can't make it in, they have to always call somebody that just hosts. But
Mm.
if they can call you, who can host and talk about the sport, they won't need to like go deep into their bench of hosts. He said, in reality,
You just go
they
to you.
probably won't even need me.
No.
He was
There
like,
you go.
but the reality is you have the ability to not only like be an analyst, but you can host and anchor a show. And I never thought about it up until that point. And I just thought that was so like dope of him, man, because he's talking at the own expense of his career, you know.
Right.
Um, so shout out to Helly for that. And that was the moment where my mind shifted on like, all right, I could talk about why this post corner beat the safety to the pylon for 40 years. But if I want to have a chance at making a name for myself in media across sports, entertainment, kids shows, game shows, and of course news, I got to step outside this box of just being an analyst. And that's when the shift happened.
It's funny because like I learned when I first started. Andy Katz, I think it was with ESPN, maybe with CBS at
Yeah,
the time. So that,
yeah,
but Andy Katz, I met him at A10 Media Day, and I asked him, I said, Andy, like I want to do it, I want to learn, I want to grow. What do I do in this business to get to the levels I want to get to? Simply said, do it all, learn it all. He said,
mm-hmm.
you do it all, you learn it all, you'll be surprised what doors are open.
Facts.
That was like the first big event I ever went to, and I've always kept what he said to me, like to the vest. I'm like, all right, okay, cool, learn it all. So when it came to all right, photography here, boom, check, learn how to do photography, or at least try to be decent at it. Try to like try to do photography, learn how to play by play is always what I wanted to do in my life, like play by play. Done some color before. I do a little bit of everything. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I can do this, I can do that. Now I'm running around all over the place. So I get you 100%. Like being able to just learn it all, and I think
Yeah,
you made the right
yeah,
move because when you learn it all, you become like I'm gonna say it, you become inedible. They want you like oh You're the jack of all
sure.
trades. You're the jack of all trades. So
No doubt.
I love the strategy.
No doubt.
I'm not
Well,
not mad at
and
it.
also like the harder the more you do, or the more you know how to do, the harder it is for people to get rid of you,
That
because
part.
there's always work for you. There's always work available. You know what I mean? And you just try to be as versatile as you can.
Can't beat it. Can't beat it. Now, all the greatness in your career. Let's get into the brain a little bit. We're gonna bring out that
Uh-huh.
NFL analyst in you just a little bit.
Yeah.
So the Ravens and Commanders, here at Bowie TV, which is a station we air on. The Ravens and the Commanders are big in our coverage. They're both coming off, difficult years to an extent. Ravens just a game short of making the playoffs. New coach, new everything pretty much. New staff for the most part. And then the Commanders, they had to retool again. They go off the NFC Championship game. They come back. They go 5-12. Just not what they thought it was going to be. What is your outlook on those two teams? And then just a general outlook on the NFL season coming up as a whole. But those two teams in particular, what are your thoughts of those two teams heading into the season?
I think when it comes to the Commanders, you can give them a pass. And I know that sounds crazy because we don't do that in sports, right? We don't give teams passes. Like, everything that happens, I don't care if it's on the field or off the field, if it's injuries or X's and O's, you gotta take it in stride. But when it's your QB and you know that he's playing injured, and then they make the smart decision to just pull him, like, you can't really blame the season on him, because he tried his best, but you can tell when a player isn't playing like themselves. So I'm looking forward to seeing Jaden Daniels have a healthy year, because it was not a fluke. 2 seasons ago was not a fluke. Telling you, as a guy who played the wide receiver position, not just how he throws the ball, his composure in the pocket, his ability to stay calm in the most chaotic of moments. And like, he still hasn't reached his full potential when it comes to explosiveness and strength. He still can get stronger and faster and smarter. So I think that there's brighter days ahead. Obviously, it's going to start and end with the health of their quarterback and how they jump out the gates. When it comes to the Ravens, this is going to be a year we all pinpoint for Lamar Jackson, whether it's for his legacy as a winner or his legacy as an overall leader of this team. Because when you have a new coach and you are a quarterback of his caliber, people expect you to take the lead. So this team is going to go as Lamar goes. I'm not saying he has to undermine anything that his coach is going to bring to the table, but this is Lamar's squad. And if he takes on that leadership role, which not only means showing up and showing the young guys how to practice and how to be a pro, which he's been doing his whole career, but also, like, in the moments that matter the most, being able to look at your coach, kind of like he did with Harbaugh, and being like, I got this, or we're on the same page, or, you know what, leave it to me. Like, will he still have that same type of dynamic with this new coach and new staff? That's a huge question. Also, we won a Super Bowl. There's 2 teams that I won a Super Bowl from: the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. It's unfortunate they're both in the East, and it's unfortunate that the East has only gotten better. The Chiefs will be good again. The Patriots are just getting started. And forget about it. If the Bengals actually learn how to start a season fast, like, they're always one of those teams that it's like, well, I'm glad their record is terrible, because right now they're the scariest team. We say the same thing every December. So it's just unfortunate that the East is improving every single offseason. So it's Super Bowl or bust for the Ravens, and it's NFC Championship or better for the Commanders.
Yeah, I see that at 100%. I can see the vision on that. With the Commanders, we saw the injuries being on the field last year, seeing the injuries pile up for that team. And in my mind, I was like, they already had a tough road ahead of them because they were playing 8 teams that went to the playoffs the year before. So I knew that was going to be, you got to see if they can, through the threshold they can go through. But having those injuries, then dealing on top of teams who are, just coming off of the playoffs, I think that made it a little bit tough for them as well. And I really do think they can bounce back this year. the Ravens, to me, seem like a team that are this close if they can just figure everything out. Lamar's got there's a small monkey on Lamar's back, unfortunately. They've got to find a way to get past. Got to the AFC Championship game 2 years ago at home, had everything set to go, and it just didn't go their way. So I'm very intrigued to see if he can, and that team, that whole organization can find a way to get to the Super Bowl. And I agree with you with him and Allen both. Like, I want to see both of those guys succeed. You hear people say all these crazy things about them. Like, these guys are elite players.
Yes, and good dudes, and solid dudes too, man.
Yep. Yeah. And they can't get to that spot, so they do get unfortunately, a really bad draw. And I think hopefully this year will be what they need. I won't make you make an NFL like Super Bowl prediction, but two teams you're excited about this year.
The Rams, my former quarterback, Matt Stafford, a refocused Puka Nacua, and then of course getting Myles Garrett in the offseason. That was a blockbuster deal for the Rams. Seahawks, I just want to see how they bounce back. Like the last time the Seahawks were this dominant, they followed up a Super Bowl victory with another Super Bowl run, but they decided to throw it on the goal line. So, what are they going to do this upcoming season? I'm really curious to see what Kyler Murray is going to do in Minnesota.
Yeah.
I love change. I love change because change forces you to address the man in the mirror. So Kyler had to figure out why things went wrong. And I've met him a couple of times. I just feel like he's a cool cat, really solid dude. There's things that you can point at, but then as an athlete, when it comes down to it, you have to take responsibility and accountability for things you could have done better. So what has Kyler learned from being praised, being brought in as the guy that's supposed to shift the organization in Arizona to them basically booing him and getting rid of him without a farewell? It wasn't celebratory. It wasn't thank you, Kyler, we love you. It was just like, oh, well, that was a waste of time. And as an athlete, that probably pisses him off.
Yeah.
So I think that fire, that desire, that just that mind frame of being like, you know what? Let me show you guys why I was a number 1 overall pick. Oh, and by the way, he's playing with the best receiver he's ever played with. Skill set wise, Larry Fitzgerald is the GOAT, of course.
Yeah,
but
of course.
From a skill set standpoint, Justin Jefferson, like think about the big, deep bombs that Kyler can throw to Justin Jefferson. And then on top of that, when Kyler can break outside the pocket, Justin Jefferson can run. It's hard to stop a guy like that running one route. What do you think is going to happen when he gets to go on a scramble drill and run a secondary route? Like it's kind of like what Tyreek had with Patrick Mahomes. When Patrick Mahomes would break the pocket and Tyreek would basically be like Sean Kemp on a fast break and put his hand up, like that's what we're going to see in Minnesota. So I'm just curious to see what that's going to look like. Yeah, man, there's a lot of what is Houston going to look like? CJ Stroud, right. You cut your hair, you know what I mean? New you who this, you know what I mean? We've all been there. So like whenever a dude goes through a new look, whether it's his beard, his hair, he obviously is doing some type of reformation. So yeah, man, I think there's some really good storylines in the NFL this season.
Yeah, look, the Rams, the last 2 years, I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. I think this could be the year that finally I look like a genius. So that's what I'm just hoping to see if I can look like a genius on that end. Seattle is, you don't hate to say you come in as an underdog, but it's probably the best thing for them. No one thinks that Seattle can go back. Yeah, I know that sounds crazy, but
it worked this year for them. You're right.
It worked this year for them. So I think everybody's not giving them, even though they're the champs, they're not getting the full respect they deserve. So they have a chance to once again low-key fly under the radar, do big things. Minnesota scares me because they had Sam Darnold, right? Yeah. You had a guy there, 14 wins. You go to next season, struggles, but then towards the end of the season, they win 5 in a row, and they finish above 500 because they were able to kind of figure it out a little. Even with quarterback struggles, they kind of got together and win to finish off the season. Justin Jefferson, in my mind, has not even touched the surface of what he could
Facts.
be. And
That's a
unfortunately,
fact.
last year was you hate to say it, a down year, but you didn't have steady quarterback play to feed Justin Jefferson. You got Kyler Murray. I promise you, as long as he's healthy and in the right mindset, Kevin O'Connell is a guy to me. I feel like he's a great head coach. He's going to figure that out. That they are just they could be really, really dangerous.
Yeah.
And then I like the Houston thought. Houston defensively has been amazing. And hey, look, CJ's won a playoff game each year he's been in the league. Question is, can he get past that point? Nobody's really maybe giving him the love on that. So yeah, good thoughts there, sir. Like the brilliance. All right, everybody. Look, we got two segments left here. We've been having a ball, but we got to go with one of my favorite segments. Only got 3 of them, but one of my favorite segments is called Quick Ones. All right, Nate. Quick ones. Now, you can answer it. I always tell people you can do one word. Some people like to give a little detail with it. I'm cool.
You want it to be quick. I got you.
It doesn't have to be like, dun-dun. You do it with I want you to answer it with all your heart. So
okay. All right.
Go. First quick one. Favorite sports moment. High school, doesn't matter. It could be high school, it could be in the pros, it could be as a fan. What is your favorite sports moment?
Ooh, favorite sports moment.
See, that's why I knew you had to explain. It's hard to just say, "Oh, this moment."
No. You're right. Because I'm trying to decide if it's one of mine's or, you know what?
Give me
my
both.
son Nate dunked on somebody his last year of high school. It is one of the coldest dunks you will ever see. I'll send it to you afterwards. So
I was about to say, send me the clip.
When you splice these clips up and tease the show, we can cut this part out. Nate dunked on this dude, a team that he did not like in high school because of rivalry. And he climbed the ladder and punched on them, and they ended up winning, and he was frying that game. That's one of my, I occasionally I'll sit back late at night with a little drink and I'll just watch that on my phone. That's how much I love that play.
That's a good.
So yeah,
that's a proud papa in that moment. Proud papa in that moment.
Facts.
All right, we go from goodness to a little bit worseness. Worst sports moment for you?
I would say the injury I had in Seattle, not the tearing of the ACL. I was fine with that. It was the recovery, the solitude, really trying to decide if I was going to let depression grab a hold of me or fight out of it, bounce back, and continue to play, which I ended up doing. But that was the first time I came to the reality that the game is going to move on without you.
That's very interesting. First time I heard somebody use the injury, but I feel that, you know what I'm saying? It's still a very important sports moment. Like, what happens if the ACL doesn't tear? You know, that type of stuff kind of gets in there.
No doubt.
Favorite athlete of all time?
Magic Johnson.
Good one.
It's showtime, baby.
I love that. You know we get a lot of Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders probably the number one answer we've ever had on the show.
Deion the GOAT, man. Deion's one of the greatest athletes ever in general. Like, you know, you got to put him in a conversation.
All right. 2 fun ones. Here we go. Top 3 ice creams and name one you hate.
Oh, I used to love daiquiri ice cream when I was younger at Baskin Robbins because I would act like there was alcohol in it and I would stumble out of the door like a little alky. I don't know why I did that. Probably looking at my dad and his friends when I was younger. And then after that, strawberry elite, just a good old-fashioned chunky strawberries.
I'm about to say with the strawberries or without.
Yeah, with the strawberries for sure. Chunky strawberries too.
Yeah.
And even though I'm lactose intolerant, it gotta be milk. It gotta be milk ice cream, dairy ice cream. But and then cookies and cream, fire. Cookies and cream. And then one I hate, I don't like chocolate chip ice cream. For sure, don't like chocolate chip and mint. I don't even understand the combo. Like
toothpaste ice cream.
Toothpaste? What? Like what?
Toothpaste ice cream.
Whose idea is this? And to mix, that's like here's the way I look at it. Like, have you ever seen somebody take a bite of a Hershey's bar and then a stick of Winter Fresh gum? You've never seen it. So why would you do that? Why would you add that to dairy? That's like putting milk in a bowl with chocolate and then a piece of bubble gum. You look at somebody crazy, but we're going to blend that up into some ice cream. It's crazy.
So fun fact, when I was doing commercials for Walmart back in 2010, I used to be Mr. Rollback for Walmart back in the day. And they had me one summer. They had this grasshopper pie ice cream. And all it was that chocolate was vanilla with like chocolate swirls and mint in there. So I'm like, so what is grasshopper pie? They say, try this. And I had to eat almost a whole bucket of this one time.
Takes over and over again.
It was horrible. I said, they was like, you all right, Darrell? I'm like, no, I'm not okay. You keep giving me this toothpaste chocolate. I don't want this. Like, I feel like,
bro, I feel like this may be generalizing, and I don't want to stereotype at all. And this isn't anything I get canceled for, but I feel like white people like chocolate flavored delights more so than black folks. You know what I'm saying? Like, they love chocolate desserts and ice creams with chocolate in it. They love chocolate chips and muffins and brownies and
York peppermint patties.
York peppermint. They have chocolate, everything. It doesn't. I feel like white folks, when it comes to chocolate, it don't matter what the complement ingredient is, as long as the chocolate is the main attraction. So that may be a generalization. It is stereotype. So white folks, tap in with me. Let me know if I'm tripping. I know black folks, we like a little bit of everything, but we want a little bit of caramel or something. We want some. White folks do like peanut butter on their desserts too. I learned that, and this is all from my white friends. You know what I mean? So
yeah, he's got sources. He's got sources.
I got sources, man.
Every good media person has sources. He has sources. Let it be. Let it be. Last one on quick ones. You're putting on a concert, Nate. Give us 4 artists that you would put in the concert, and out of those 4 artists, who's your headliner?
This is a good question, my guy.
Yeah, it's my favorite question to ask.
Bruh. I think I'm opening up with Jay-Z. I'm opening up with Jay-Z. I know you're like, damn, Nate, okay, opener Jay. I'm going with
crazy.
I'm going with opening up with Jay-Z, and then followed by Tupac.
Oh man, okay. All right, this gonna be rough.
And then the third act, I'm going with an artist, and her catalog's beautiful, but I want her to perform one album, and the entire album, start to finish. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I want Lauryn Hill to perform that album. That she's gonna do that whole set, and then I'm closing it out with MJ.
Oh yeah, this is a concert I can't wait to go to. I'm gonna
come on now.
That's an insane
concert. I kind of cooked with that.
Well, you're gonna have everybody hyped up, and then you're gonna just smooth them out with Lauryn, and then you're gonna re-hype them right back up with MJ.
Facts, bro. It's gonna be an emotional tornado inside your body, bro.
Yeah, I don't know if I prepare for that. I think, and you know, it's funny, if it was me, my headliner would be Mike too. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it wouldn't be, but my lineup would be, I'd have Anita Baker open, because Anita my girl, so Anita would open. I'd have Marvin Gaye right there at number 2, and then Luther. I have Luther 3, Mike 3.
You got a soulful. You got an R&B night. See, I was trying to pull some genres.
Trying to mix it up.
You know what I mean?
I'm a hurt him. I'm a hurt him. And if I was gonna throw some hip hop in there, I'd throw Biggie in there to open or something like that. But no, I was like, I'm gonna straight for all the lovers tonight. Here you go. Bam.
There's gonna be a lot of babies born that night. A lot of babies made. Excuse me. A lot of babies made that night.
They're gonna be like, well, when was you born? Oh yeah, we were all born in the same week.
Yeah. That quadruple header, the R&B quadruple header. Yeah.
The soulfulness of sofas. All right, everybody, that's Quick Ones right there. The Nate Burleson edition of Quick Ones in the books, and we're gonna finish this one up the right way with Leave Your Legacy. All right. First of all, Nate, thank you. This has been an absolute, a great hour. I can't believe I didn't even realize we were an hour in 2 minutes ago, but a great hour of sitting back, talking, getting to learn you, man. And I truly appreciate you coming in to talk with us and just talking about your career, talking about a little sports and all that. We really appreciate it, brother.
No problem, man. I appreciate you having me on.
All right. Now, time to leave your legacy. Now, 10, 15, maybe 20 years from now, you have to decide, you know what, I'm hanging up the mic. Final time, I'm done. I'm gonna sit back, drink a pina colada, some type of drink, whatever your favorite drink is. What type of legacy do you want to leave when it's all said and done, when you're back, retired, chilling out?
I want people to say that I showed up, and
Mm,
that is layered. Um, and I'll start with the layer that is of least importance, not value in my life, but least importance,
mm,
is that I showed up as an athlete. That when it was my time to shine, I gave everything I got. At moments, I was the superstar, and at other times, I was the compliment. Either way, I showed up. I want people to say that I showed up as a friend and someone who was philanthropic in his efforts, his money, and his energy. I, I, like a lot of people, I do a lot of things that I don't post about
right.
or want credit for. I'd rather my name be whispered in circles after I'm gone. You can point to a wall, a building, a group of kids, a school, a locker room full of jerseys and equipment, and someone say, "Oh, that was Nate." I want people to say I showed up and I gave. I also want people to say that I showed up as a husband and a father, that they saw me as a family man. And I also want people to say that I showed up as a man of faith, that they can see God in me and see God in my works. And the reason I started with sports as the least important, not the least valued, is because if I am laying in my casket and people are speaking about me, and all they have to say about me is how good of an athlete I was, or the biggest memories they have were me as a basketball player, football player, as a hurdler, then I failed. I
Mm,
failed at life. If all you can say about, and I'm appreciative, don't get me wrong,
right.
but if all you can say about me are memories of me being an athlete, I failed. I want my legacy to be much deeper, much richer, and filled with stories and experiences. People raising their hands and saying, "Oh, I ran into Nate. I ran into him that one time, and he did this for us, for me, for we." Like that's what I want, and that's all I care is making sure that that when I'm gone, people remember how much of a gift I was to them.
That's awesome. I'll be honest, brother. I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, yeah, the sports, that's a great thing. It's like, hey, caught one with 138 in the season. That's cool. But being able to have that extra effect on people, it means a lot. It means a lot. When people look at you, it's like, man, we just lost a a good dude. You know what I'm saying? That does go a far way. You want your legacy to precede you the best way you can. I couldn't have said it better myself, brother. Well, everybody, we've come to an end. It has been a fun ride. Before we run away, I have to let you know who we got coming on next week, ladies and gentlemen. My friend Aaron Russell, head coach of the Virginia Cavaliers women's basketball team. I've known Coach Russell for, this is going on like year 7, year 8 now. Just came out of a great 7 years at the University of Richmond. He's been on the show multiple times, and now he will come back as the head coach of the Virginia Cavaliers women's basketball team. So happy for Coach. And to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm hyped for a big reason, and that's because y'all know I'm a Cavaliers fan at heart. So one of my favorite guys is the new head coach of my world. We in there. So can't wait to have Coach Russell on next week. Nate, appreciate you, brother. Before we run,
Of course.
LeBron, where is LeBron going?
3 places. He's either going to go to Golden State, play with Steph, go back to Miami, play with
Come home.
Bam and Giannis, and it'd be the real big three, the tall
Come
big
home.
three.
Come home.
Or he's going to go to the Washington Wizards and be a veteran presence to AJ, Debanza, and also be an outlet for Trae Young.
Oh.
And also it would be his last subtle dig at the ultimate conversation of the GOAT, because it would be LeBron playing in a Wizards jersey, just like Mike at an older age, playing at a higher level and winning. Because if LeBron goes there, they'll be in the playoffs. So
isn't that something?
Yeah, those are my three teams: Warriors, Heat, Wizards.
Well, look, this Heat fan says come back home to Miami. I know I don't live there, but as you come back home to Miami, hey, Giannis and the crew, they're gonna need some help. Bam, AJ Wilson gonna be on the sidelines during the season.
Right.
Hey, we just need that vibe. Come on, bring him back. We appreciate it. Once again, everybody, that's it. Episode 205 of 101 is in the books. My man Nate Burleson. Y'all make sure y'all check him out. Follow him on social media. Y'all already know the dream. The man is amazing. So, Nate, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you for joining us for this.
Of course. No problem, man. Anytime.
All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next week for Coach Aaron Russell in episode 206.
One. Welcome to the 101. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to the 101.